Hello everyone. Next let me show you how I learned to make a Nakajikake from my teacher Nikura Hanshi, Nikura sensei. So what I start with is a bundle of threads like this that I took out of a spent tsuru, artificial tsuru. These are zylon threads, and one of these thick tsurus I'm using for my bow yields about 4 to 5 bundles that you can obtain by disassembling the tsuru itself. Of course you can do this also with hemp, with asa, but it's not going to be as strong against abrasion and friction as this zylon's threads. Therefore these are the recommended ones. So for the first step we are checking the fit of the arrow's hazu, the nock. So for that we can leave here 3 to 5 centimeters. It doesn't matter in the first step, and we can actually do it in any place on the tsuru we want it. What I do is I form a kind of foundation for the rest of the Nakajikake, like this, for about 1 centimeter, not more. Then I'm starting to form a kind of rope by spinning the threads this way, clockwise, quite tightly until you start seeing small knots forming there, but not tighter than that, because it's making it thicker. And I'm using then this thread I just spun to form the area where finally the yahazu will sit, just to check if I have enough number of or amount of fiber in here. As you can see, even without using any kind of kusune or glue, this is tight enough to actually sit on the tsuru just by itself at this point. Also because it is tightened by my spinning here. Right, so I do this for about 1 centimeter to up to 2 centimeters, paying attention to always bundle them. And so it looks like this. And while holding that, the thread in your hand, you take your arrow and push it on the Nakajikake. And so this is a good fit. It's quite tight. It will loosen a little bit once you start using it, but it was actually easy to push the arrow in and have it sit there. So by this I know that I have enough thread in my bundle here. Right, and then we take this apart by spinning it the opposite way. Of course, by using artificial fiber, they are much more resistant than asa, so you can actually put quite a lot of tension on them, and they will be very stable once it is done. And we can also use your fingernail to straighten them once you have it in hand. Right, as you can see, I took it off completely without an issue, and just by using the fingernail like this, one can straighten them and clean them so that they don't have any particles or knots in there. Right, so it looks like this, about 40 centimeter long, like I said, taken out of an artificial tsuru. One tsuru will yield, one thick tsuru will yield maybe for me about 4 of these bundles I can use later. Okay, as you can see, I already marked where my arrow's nocking point will later be, And so this depends from yumi to yumi. It's about, in my case, it's about 8 millimeters on top of the nigiri here. So you just need a ruler and measure it, or you can use the flooring or a tatami and measure it so that this falls about 8 millimeters above the nigiri. Okay, what you need next is kusune. So I do not use artificial glue, I just use kusune, and mine looks, I don't know if you can see, it's quite soft because we are in summer now and it's quite warm and humid outside and inside. And in my case I just took it out of the tube, mixed it with again with such fibers so that it has a bit of consistency here, and I put it between a in the middle of such a piece, leather piece. Okay, and then with the kusune you are applying it from your nocking point 3 to 4 centimeters above and maybe 7 to 10 centimeters below it. And so that looks like this. Apply it a number of times. With the friction it actually melts a little bit and it gets easier to apply. And so now this is, you can also hear it, it's quite sticky. Yeah. Next, we do the actual Nakajikake. So let's take the bundle I just prepared, arrange all the fibers so that they are neatly starting from the same point, straighten them again and clean them from debris and other glue particles or whatever it might be in there. Right, once you have them straightened and flat, you place them maybe 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeters above your nocking point and 2 millimeters of the tsuru, so just like this. And they will try to stick to the tsuru because of the kusune, so they will actually stick there. And you start making your Nakajikake without spinning them in this position. So you go a bit towards up, arrange it so that it looks neat and clean, and then you spin it a bit more towards down so that you cover all the loose ends. Right, I actually went a bit too much up. You can start 2 centimeters from your nocking point. One more. Okay, once you're in this phase, you can then again start spinning this bundle in order to form a thicker thread. Like I said, quite tight. And it should look like this. You have to always be careful to hold the tension so that it doesn't unwrap. As you can see, it forms these little knots. That means it's too much tension, so I just let it go back a little bit until it's straight again. Personally, I found this way of making the Nakajikake very robust and very resistant way. So in my case it lasts, although I'm shooting a relatively strong yumi, it lasts for many shots, and it only uses kusune, so it's actually not so fragile by bending, so it will not break even if you bend the tsuru, if it happens to bend there. The white glue, it's maybe a little bit more fragile after a while, but it has the advantage obviously that it will not mess up your kake. Right, you place this tightened rope for about 3 centimeters, a little bit more in my case here, and then this should be enough, with the nocking point now hidden behind, but the nocking point should be right in the middle of these 3 centimeters. Then again you unwrap it and you form your kake holding area like this. Again, quite tight pull so that it sits flush against the tsuru, or later we will flatten it again. Right, so the entire construction should look like this, 7 to 8 centimeters long. Here I placed maybe a bit too much on the top, this is not required. And then you will have maybe again 7 to 8 centimeters left. And this is important because what we do here to finalize it is we separate a thin thread and then cut away the rest which is not needed. Right, and then wrap this and form 2 or 3 knots. This is why it's important to have 40 centimeters left, so that you have this remaining centimeters at the end. That helps you form its foundation there. Helps you finish it. Do this 2 or 3 times. Maybe one more time, if I have enough left. There we go. Right, then we finalize this by placing some more kusune on top, just a little bit. And then with our blocks we straighten it so that it looks neat and clean. If some threads separate, you can always put some more kusune on them and then they will stick together back to the bundle. Yes. Right, check your fit again to the arrow. Yeah, this is tight enough. It can be removed, and it doesn't require extreme force to sit or to set. And then to finalize it with some waraji, we remove the kusune from, or we spread the kusune from the rest of the tsuru. Okay, so this is how I am making it. It's yet another way to make it. I found this very robust and very strong for stronger yumi, where you have actually significant forces on your knocks here. And I find this way of thickening and reinforcing the area of knocking helping very much with accuracy. Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.